and evil schemes, fighting phantoms, haunting dreams, echoes of forgotten screams, horror not as it all seems. Battle cries in black and void, demons that I once enjoyed, now a strength they can't avoid, living past I'm forced to destroy. I suppose the blood they crave, spirits risen from the grave, clawing beasts the souls they save. I'll be fighting till I cave, monsters hiding in my fears, bloody masks and deadly leers, fending off the painful jeers, victory drowning in my tears. Battle cries in black and void, demons that I once enjoyed, now a strength they can't avoid, living past I'm forced to destroy. 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 Moonlit graves and evil schemes, fighting phantoms, haunting dreams, echoes of forgotten screams, horror not as it all seems. Battle cries in black and void, demons that I once enjoyed, now a strength they can't avoid, living past I'm forced to destroy. To destroy. To destroy. To destroy. To destroy. To destroy.
Shadows crawl from the grave, whisper secrets dark and brave, eyes that pierce into the night, monsters come we must fight. Candles flicker casting dread, ghostly wails fill my head, chasing demons lost in time, sanity a steep climb. Off with his head she screamed, blood moon's eerie gleam, battle cries through the dark, leaving fear's deep mark. Echoes of sins long past, fighting shadows deep and vast, blood-stained blade in hand, stand your ground, make a stand. Cursed whispers fill the air, spirits cry, beware, beware, through the fog and through the flame, monsters here know my name. Off with his head she screamed, blood moon's eerie gleam, battle cries through the dark, leaving fear's deep mark. Off with his head she screamed, blood moon's eerie gleam, battle cries through the dark, leaving fear's deep mark. Echoes of sins long past, fighting shadows deep and vast, blood-stained blade in hand, stand your ground, make a stand. Cursed whispers fill the air, spirits cry, beware, beware, through the fog and through the flame, monsters here know my name. Silence screams, hearts break, nightmares come wide awake, warriors of woe take flight, darkened souls embrace the fight. Shadows crawl from the grave, whisper secrets dark and brave, eyes that pierce into the night. Monsters come, we must fight. Candles flicker, casting dread. Spirits cry, beware, beware. In the still night, whispers float. In the quiet, heartbeat slow. No clash, no roar, just silence. In the shadows, battles won. I see through foggy veils, no swords to raise, no cries to wail. Victory's touching ghostly hue. Darkness glows a pale blue. Silent shadows trace the ground. In this silence we are bound. Greatest victory found with ease. No need to fight, no need to cease. Creeping through the twisted wood, echoes shards where warriors stood. Just a breath, just a wish. No more war, no final fist. Wisdom whispers in the night. Strength in peace, no need to fight. Witness walk in soft embrace. No battle scars, no death.
Alright, evening everybody. Welcome to another episode of, I almost said Bitey's Breaks, goddamn. Game design for the Shattered World. So tonight I wanted to talk about something that we haven't talked much about. Let me pull up my thing. We're going to be talking about item modifications. And items in general. However, give me a minute. I do not have the right tabs open because I am a fucking professional. So, obviously the exact picture of these cards are going to change a little bit. These are basically going to be spell cards, the equivalent, but for weapons. So, for weapons, hold please. Let me do it here. Boop. So, we will do a basic 357. Has a basic damage of 4 and a range of 7, which we've already got. Its type is handgun, and that's its name. Close that. So, one of the things that I absolutely hate about Dungeons and Dragons is the way the magic item enhancement system works. For those of you not familiar, the way it works is you start out with your weapon, right? A quarterstaff, a sword, a dagger, whatever the fuck you're wielding. At level 1, it's just a sword, because you're just starting your adventure. That's cool. Doesn't matter what your background is, doesn't matter any of that, you start with a sword. Cool. Or, you know, again, a dagger, a crossbow, whatever. So, right around level 2 or 3, you get a masterwork version of your weapon. You know, you've been adventuring for a little bit, you've got some deeds behind you, Masterwork weapon. What does that mean? +1 to attack. Okay. It's not a lot. +1. But hey, it's a bonus. Awesome. Never going to turn down a free +1. Then, around level 4, maybe level 5, you get a magic weapon. Awesome. Except, the first enchantment you get on your weapon has to be a +1 to attack and damage. That's still okay, right? Because I already have my Masterwork as a +1. So my sword now has +2 to attack and +1 to damage, right? No. Because the Masterwork bonus and the enchantment bonus don't actually stack. So I waited 4 to 5 levels to do 1 more damage and have a +5% chance to hit. But you know, that's just 4 to 5 levels, right? What is that in the grand scheme of things? Well, officially, hey Time, welcome to the stream. You made it just in time for my first of many, many rants. But, what's 4 to 5 levels anyway? What does that actually mean? Well, D&D, the core rulebook, has rules for going up to level 20. Okay. So I just spent a fifth to a quarter of my character's career for a +1 to attack and damage. Except, it's worse than that, because most campaigns end right around level 12. So I spent a third to half of my character's career and got a +1 to attack and damage. That's shitty. I'm sorry, it's just shitty. So, one of the things that I sat down and designed was the modification system. And I wanted to do a couple things with this system. From a narrative point of view, if you meet someone who's really into a task, I don't care if that's painting miniatures, I don't care if that's building computers, if it's tinkering with cars, the worst words you can say to them are off the rack, right? They never just take the car as it was sold. They've always got to tinker with it. They've always got to mess with it. They've always got to modify it to make it theirs. And that's one of the things I wanted to we don't need any of you. Oops. Ignore that D&D character. So, where the fuck was I? Anyway, modifications. One of the things we wanted to do was make it to where you could modify your weapon or your armor right at character creation. If you wanted. You don't have to. There were other things you could spend your money on, but if you wanted to, that's what you could do. So, you've seen the tag system. Also, before I talk about tags, there was one other design philosophy that I had behind the modification system, and this one's important. Again, coming from that D&D background, right? I reference D&D a lot, Dungeons and Dragons, but that's only because in the United States, D&D owns like 55 to 60% of the tabletop RPG market. Meaning if I'm talking to people who have only played 1 or 2 tabletop RPGs, odds are better than good that it was Dungeons and Dragons. It's very much a baseline for most people's tabletop RPG experience. Now, we can sit here and discuss kind of. Vorpal, no, because I think that's actually copyright, but you can have a legally distinct light scimitar. Joking aside, where the fuck was I? Oh, modifications. So, one of the big problems with a game like Dungeons and Dragons, the way they do it, and a lot of level-based games are no different, really. D&D is just the biggest offender in my experience, the more obvious offender. Crits don't exist in the Shattered World. Nice try. So, one of the biggest offenders is that the game makes you choose, right? In D&D 5th edition, the 2014 version, not the 2024 version of 5th edition, because they're giving it a new number, but they're not, and they are, but they're not, and it's a different system, but it's a anyway. Fuck Hasbro. I didn't say that out loud. I love you, corporate overlords. Please buy my stuff. So, with D&D 5th edition, every couple of levels, every 5, I believe, maybe it's every 4. I think it's every 4. You have a choice. You can either choose to get a +2 bonus to one of your stats, or you can get a feat which lets you do something cool. And when you're buying enchantments for your weapon, you can either buy that +1 bonus after the first time. You know, you have to buy it the first time, but you can raise it up to a +5 sword that does absolutely nothing else but get a +5 bonus to attack and damage. Or you can get other modifications that let you do cool shit. And I hate that, because you are forced to choose between being able to mathematically do your job or do cool shit. And that is not a real choice. It's just not. It's not an interesting choice. It's not a fun choice. It's not a real choice. Like, I would love to say it another way, but it just is what it is. It's the illusion of choice. Because when you get right down to it, it doesn't matter how much cool shit you can do if you can't succeed at it. And if I only have 2 or 3 opportunities in my career to get a feat, but I've got to spend at least one of them on a +2 bonus to make myself competent at my job, what you're telling me is I really only get 1 feat. Maybe 2. Same with items, right? If you're telling me, oh, you've got so many slots to put on gear, but 5 of those slots got to go to a +1 bonus, I don't have 10 slots. I have 5 slots. That's all it is. So, with the modification system, we decided to bake that inherent +1 bonus right into the system. So, rather than having to choose, do I become mechanically better or do I do cool shit? You choose to do cool shit, and you get the +1 to attack, +1 to damage inherently as you add more modifications to your weapon. Now, modifications take slots. You'll see, looking at our 357, we only have 6 slots. 6. Some slots, some modifications, more powerful ones, will take more than one slot. So, it very much, there is a trade-off, right? You do still have to make that trade-off. Do I get 3 modifications that do smaller cool things and have +3 to attack and damage, or do I get 1 or 2 items that do really cool things, but I have a reduced attack and damage bonus? Yes, it is a little similar, but the way it is set up, the choice is different. Because you never not pick to do cool shit. You're never giving up versatility to be better at what you do. And frankly, a +1 to attack and damage, it's fucking boring. It's boring. No one, when they're talking with their friends about the cool shit they've done, no one tells the story about how they got a sword that had +1 to attack and damage. They tell the story about how they fought off a horde of cultists, and in the middle of the fight, they like grabbed the head cultist and slew him with their sword and pinned the cultist's body to the shrine of their god, for daring to desecrate the area, and their sword glowed with holy light from the altar, and they got a whatever, right? Like, even if they got a +1 bonus to attack and damage, that's not what they were excited about. It was the blessing of the god. It was the cool shit. I'm just a little guy. But another important thing is, as you notice, there are, again, 4 different types of modifications for a handgun: sights, barrel, exterior, and stock. You can only have 1 modification of a given type, a given tag. So one of the barrel modifications, for example, is extra barrel. That's how you get your double barrel shotgun. That's how you get your 2-shot derringers, things like that. If I have the extra barrel modification, I cannot have 6 barrels duct taped to one weapon, right? Even if I have 6 slots and an extra barrel only takes 1 slot, I took extra barrel as my barrel modification. I can't take any more barrel modifications. Same with sights. I can't duct tape 17 sights to my gun to try and shoot better. So, for example, let me look at my different... modifications. So, oops. So let's slide that right there. What's our rangefinder attachment do? When aiming, reduce enemy cover penalties by 1. And then again, if you are a specialist in firearms, you know how to use your rangefinder a little bit better, etc., etc. So we will say, for example, this character has a 3 ferocity. We'll also say, because I'm lazy, they have a 3 skill. We have 1 attachment. So that is a +1 to attack. Their damage goes up to 5. Their attack bonus with this is 7. And then that can go higher or lower based on everything. That is how the modification system works. And again, modifications are available starting at level, not level 1, God, starting at character creation. So, time, I realize it's just me talking to you. Any questions about the modification system? I know you've seen them a bit before in the playtest. I'm going to give just a minute. So, I am going to disappear for just a minute. I'm going to go get some water. When I come back, we will be switching screens to my Sweet Home 3D, my map maker. And we are going to be setting up the map for this weekend. And then answering any questions, if any, happen to pop up. Be right back. Alright, I am back. Sorry for the delay, and welcome, Witchy. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. So, I'm not sure how much of my previous rant you saw. Extremely long story short, I was going over how the modification system works for the Shattered World. Without getting into my various rants, unlike other games, modifications, if you play Dungeons and Dragons and the like, your weapon enchantments, not only will be available starting at character creation if you can afford it, but unlike a game like Dungeons and Dragons, for example, where you have to choose, do I get my +1 to attack and damage? After I've gotten that the first time, do I get another bonus to attack so I can mathematically do my job? Or do I try to get something that does something cool? In the Shattered World, that +1 to attack and damage is baked into the system. Every time you get a modification, you get that bonus automatically. So you never have to decide between a basic +1 to attack and damage or something that lets you do cool shit. And then just like before, just like with merits, just like with your destiny abilities, while there is no level system, you just make your character, you're not a level 1 rogue, a level 5 fighter, or anything like that. As you increase your skill proficiency, that lets you do more and more cool shit. So the rangefinder attachment, for example, lets you spend an action to aim and reduce cover penalties when you fire at somebody. Makes sense. If you have at least 4 ranks in firearms, meaning you're at least a specialist, it does something in addition to that. And then once you hit Pinnacle, 7 ranks, it does another thing. So you're always encouraged to increase your skills. But for the moment, we are going to switch scenes. There we go. And oh God, excuse me. Sorry, professionalism in action right there. Alright, give me one moment. Nope, you are not what I was looking for. There we go. So Twitch will do the pop-up notification for other streamers, and one just popped up, dude, let me in, I'm a fairy. Don't you believe in fairies? No. I've read too much, I've played too much Changeling. You are not allowed in. No thank you. Alright, we've got you, we've got you. Alright. So you are done. We've got Emor and Colette who are left. Alright, so that's 90 feet. So we are going to... Alright, 45 feet. Ah, you are not what I wanted to click on. Alright. Buttons everywhere. I will click on the wrong fucking one every time. So 150. Thank you. Alright. Also, I apologize for the professionalism, but it's dinner time. So, it's not my fault. In Saucy's stream, we got talking about pierogies. I got talking about pierogies, and I got really hungry. Oh, shit. I was wondering why it was so quiet. and I realized I never actually put any of my music on. Alright, you guys should be able to hear that. Sorry about that. Nice. They really are. I'm from an area with a fairly decent Polish and Eastern European population. So growing up, pierogies were pierogies, right? It was just a thing. And then I joined the military, got out of my hometown, strongly recommend, good idea. And I moved to the south. And I remember, like, I'm trying to find pierogies, because I just had a wild hankering for them one day. And they didn't even sell, like, the shitty Mrs. T pierogies in the freezer section, right? Like, I asked, hey, where do you have the pierogies? What are pierogies? The hell do you mean, what are pierogies? So, yeah. I moved back home. And I get pierogies again. What was it, a couple weeks ago, I had made sweet potato gnocchi. And that, we still had dough, so I used the sweet potato gnocchi dough to make the shells for pierogies. That turned out so good. Oh, I need to make pierogies again. Alright, so that's what? We'll call that 567. So 572 would be 5 feet. 577 would be 10 feet. We'll do that about 15. Where is living room? Hey, Mad, welcome to the stream. Pierogies are great. I might do a cooking stream one day, just make a bunch of different types of pierogies and do a taste test. Let my viewers vote on which ones I make. Oh, I should not come up with stream ideas while I'm fucking hungry. Alright. Lights. Oh, God. Arancini. My brain started going, onigiri? That's not right. Yes, I might make those one day, too. For those of you that aren't familiar, you basically take a chunk of mozzarella cheese, wrap sausage around it, cook it, but wrap sausage around it, then wrap rice around that, freeze it, and then double bread it, deep fry it, and serve it with some marinara. It's so fucking good. What the hell are albondigas? I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. I've never heard of those. Okay, they're meatballs. Yet one of the things I love is how you can have the same basic food from like 8 different countries, and you get the same basic idea, but it's the subtle differences, right? Like, I want to make a Scotch egg at some point, which is the same basic principle, only rather than starting with a cheese in the center, you do an egg. Yeah, all bone. Sorry, I'm 12. And I'm tired. But I guess that is the question. Would you all be interested in a cooking stream? Right. Same. I may not be a good cook, but damn it, I love to do it. Okay. I like how we started talking about food and everybody noped right the fuck out. No. Alright. Oh, coffee table. There we go. I hate that name. The mukbang, I don't... Some people don't like the word moist. Mukbang, just not a fan of that word. Alright. So... Alright, guys. I hate to cut this short, but, I am gonna cut this short. I'm gonna tell you what. I already know who I'm gonna raid. So, for those of you that know, twice a month, I am part of Super Destructo 2's, D&D 5th edition game. While Super is not streaming right now, one of my fellow players, Saucy, is. So, we're going to go ahead and raid her channel. And I'm going to go the fuck to sleep. So, our next stream will be tomorrow night. It'll be Bitey's Breaks. Everybody, take care, be safe, and I will see you next time.